So let's watch this slow motion video of Félix Auger-Aliassime at Wimbledon. Let's watch it in its entirety, and then we'll diagram it. Now, before we do the analysis, don't forget that if you're looking for people in your local area to play against, practice with, or even find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your match strategy, then use my link in the description, playyourcourt.com/2minute tennis. And when you use my link, you get 50% off when you join. Oh, that was so cool. This video, by the way, is courtesy of Zen Rackets on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to their awesome channel. I put their link in the description below. I didn't put the video in slow motion. That's actually how it is on Zen Rackets. A lot of their videos are like that. So it's so cool. So the return to serve, right? So we've got Felix hitting a backhand return here. So let's go over this in detail. The first thing is just notice the distance between the baseline and where he's starting. He's not planning on staying back here. On the return, it's in your best interest to feel yourself going forward when you're returning the serve. So if, let's say, you want to stand here to return serve, well, then start back here, right? Always start farther back on the return of serve compared to where you want to be when striking the ball, so that you can move forward to that point and really kind of fight fire with fire. So we see that with Felix. We cannot see the entire left foot here, but notice when he's going forward, all of a sudden we can. So he's going closer to the baseline as he's hitting this. Now, the next thing is the split step. Now, we don't see the opponent hitting the serve, but we know when the opponent hits. And the opponent is hitting the ball when Felix is in the air. The proper timing of a split step is to be in the air as your opponent hits the ball, because there is a delay in our visual reaction time. It's around 0.28, 0.3 seconds when you are dealing with something visually. So he wants to be in the air as the opponent hits so that when he lands, his brain can actually react to it. You don't want to land as your opponent hits the ball, because then you have to wait until your brain can process. So the proper timing on a split step is to be in the air. That's on the return, whether you're at the net, whether you're rallying, your opponent's at the net, you're playing doubles in a quick exchange. It doesn't matter. Our reaction time is the same in all of those situations. So you want to be in the air as your opponent hits the ball. It does not matter how far away your opponent is standing from you, or how close, how hard they're going to hit the ball, how slowly. It doesn't change. Our reaction time is our reaction time. Now, what's cool about this is because his opponent is hitting the ball as he's in the air, when he lands, he can actually plant with his right foot. This is so cool. He doesn't land with both feet. He takes off with both feet, but he only steps with his right foot first, because he sees the ball coming to his backhand side. So he wants to be able to pivot and coil and turn to that side. And that's exactly what happens. He lands with his right foot and turns with his left. So cool. In fact, if you kind of see here, he doesn't just turn his left foot, but he also moves his left leg out a little bit. So obviously he felt the need to get a little closer to this ball. Now, this is where you get to see split turn hit step. And that's the order in which the return of serve events occur. So it's split, turn, hit, and then step. And the step is when the right foot, when you're hitting on the left side of your body, when the right foot hits the ground. So he turns, beautiful use of the legs here, right? So watch when he hits this ball. See how he explodes up and he gets his left leg straight? When you can get your left leg straight, or a leg straight, by the time you contact the ball, that's when you really maximize the energy from the ground through the body to the racket. So he turns. Look at the short backswing. I've made many videos of Felix's backhand on here on the channel on 2 Minute Tennis on YouTube. And he typically takes the racket farther back. on his ground stroke backhand. But because it's a return of serve, it's on grass, probably a first serve, again, based on how far he was back receiving this ball. This is a super short backswing. So film yourself hitting returns. See how short of a backswing you can use. And by the way, notice he does have the tip of the racket up when he takes it back. Don't feel like you have to take it straight down and then to the ball. As long as the swing doesn't go like too far behind the plane and you can keep the racket more on the hitting side of the body, you can have a little bit of a loop. And that's exactly what we see here from him. He hits the ball, steps with his right foot hitting the ground, and then you can see the racket go to a complete follow through. So one would say that the backswing is short and the follow through is long on this shot. So he immediately then sidesteps, getting back to the center of the court. There's his hop right there. That was his split step. You'll notice that his sliding, and I shouldn't say sliding, his sidestepping kind of parlays into a split step. So that's when his opponent's hitting the ball right there, when he's in the air. Again, we know this from the dozens and dozens of videos that I've done with the split step here on YouTube. We know that the opponents are always in the air when the other person is hitting the ball. So he turns, absolutely gorgeous backhand. He's completely turned his front shoulder to the opponent. So his shoulders right now are basically in line with the camera, and we're to the right of him, right? So we can see how much of his back is actually showing to the opponent. You can see that the backswing is bigger. He takes the racket a little farther back. Absolutely love this. Man, this is good. Closing the racket face. Strings are facing down. The reason you want your strings facing down when below contact is so you can spin up the back of the ball. Here's a great view of every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as he's swinging forward on his left side, his body wants to have something go forward on his right side. That's why in bowling, when you see bowlers, bowl the bowling ball down trying to hit the pins, their back leg kicks behind them. It's just totally natural. Now, this is actually what I call closed stance fallout. You'll notice since his momentum is going forward and he's getting up to this ball, which is a great little detail I need to explain here. Notice he's not waiting for this ball to get to him. He's moving up to get to this ball at a diagonal. Notice after he hits the ball, because he needs his hips to turn, his back leg swings around. So his left leg, after it does what it does with physics, it then swings around because his hips are turning and plants. Now, he's inside the court here. So unless he just really hurt his opponent, he needs to move back behind the baseline. Let's see which way that ball goes. This ball goes cross court. We can see the path of the ball. The ball's going to travel like this. Watch the shadow. Watch the shadow on the ground here. Watch it. See the ball go cross court? So he's hitting this ball cross court. So if his opponent's right-handed, he just hit it to his opponent's left side. That's actually why he's staying where he's staying. He's staying on the left side of the court because his opponent is on the right side of the court. So that's called seesawing. You want to stand opposite your opponent. Not only because you want to bisect where your opponent can hit the ball, but you also want to help out in this situation and try to help yourself get more forehands. The ball does come to his backhand. And let's see, it's a pretty deep ball, right? It's in the middle of no man's land. So he didn't feel comfortable moving around this ball and hitting it as a forehand. So he chose to hit a backhand. We can see that back leg kick behind him again a little bit. Again, that's a very natural move. Let's see where this ball goes. Yeah, looks like maybe a little bit cross court, maybe down the middle. That's why he's more in the middle. Now, this is really, really cool. Notice he's turning with both hands. This ball is going to be a forehand, but it's a let cord. So watch how this ball is now coming right at him, and he has to quick improvise and make this a slice. Now, if you like going to the net, you know that when a ball comes to your body, it's a backhand, right? So body volleys at the net are a backhand. Well, the same thing occurs here. He's prepared to hit a forehand, can't quite get out of the way of it, so he quick turns. Again, it's on grass, it's slippery. There's a lot of falling down on grass. It's been happening a lot in recent years, a lot of people slipping. So he doesn't want to quick pivot and make it a forehand. So the ball's coming to his left hip and he just uses a slice. Now this is an outside in slice. So he's swinging this way. So that ball is going to have side spin and that ball is actually going to curve this way. The ball always curves the opposite direction you swing. If you swing this way, the ball's going to curve that way. That's why when you swing up for a top spin, the ball spins down. The ball always spins the opposite direction you swing as you hit. So he recovers back. Now here's a cool little detail. Watch this. Watch how he goes across, then back. obviously his opponent is about to blast this next shot, and he feels like he wants a little more time to react. So see how he starts moving back? And he has a big split step. You can actually see the camera have to pan down a little bit to see him because he's actually moving backward away from the baseline. So the ball is ripped to his backhand. We can actually tell right there. If you'd have to kind of be a tennis nerd and tennis coach geek to kind of notice that he just changed his grip. Even though we couldn't see his hands, we could see the racket kind of twirl where he changed his grip for the backhand. The stance that he's using right now, I know that the Zen Rackets little pop-ups just came up when I screen recorded this. But you'll notice that he's using what's called a mogul stance. And so we see his feet stay in an open stance. This is really common when you're stretched, when you're moving hard to a side, doesn't matter a forehand or backhand, you'll often see them use a mogul stance. And now notice here he's running forward. That basically tells me that the opponent was at the net, and the reason the opponent was at the net is because he blasted the ball to the corner and he attacked. He felt like he got Felix in trouble. So now he's attacking, the opponent is, and as soon as Felix hits this, his opponent's at the net and is volleying. Now here's one small little detail. I want you to look how Felix slid the racket or his hand up to the throat of the racket. This is what you see with high-level players. When the point is over, they always relax the hand, and they don't just hold on to like with a death grip, onto the grip of the racket for 2 straight hours. When the point is over, they actually slide their hand to the throat of the racket as a way to relax their hand so that they're not hurting themselves or tiring their hand throughout the match. All right, let's watch this point one more time. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. And by the way, you may have been able to hear the hit and how the hit of the opponent was corresponding when Felix was in the air. So cool to have that detail in this video. I want you to go out and film yourself. I want you to film yourself playing a match and painstakingly move through each shot, each movement, your footwork, your court positioning. You're a smart player. Use what you know to coach yourself. Be your own coach and your own advocate. Go out, play a match, record yourself, and painstakingly move through each situation and see how you can improve. And there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.